Okay, so we have this registration form, and in this registration form there are certain fields. I want to save this data. So when user clicks on this submit button, okay, so when user clicks on the submit button, what I want is I want to save data. Where? Save data to Salesforce database. So when student fills his name, parent's name, which class he studied, and number of hours he studied in a day, mobile number, and whatever education details he wants to fill in, and then submit this registration form. So on press of this submit button, I want to save this data to SFDC database, Salesforce database. To achieve this, what I have to do is I have to create object. I have to create object in Salesforce. So objects are basically like data tables. So I have to create objects in Salesforce. In our case, I am going to create two objects. Number one, registration form. Okay, and the second object that I'm going to create is education details. Educational detail. Now this registration form and education details, these two objects will share one-to-many relationship. One registration form can have many education detail, correct? So these two objects are going to share this one-to-many relationship. So I'll define that relationship as well. So we are clear with this. On click of the submit button, I want to save data to Salesforce database, and for that I need some placeholder. And that placeholder would be nothing but object, correct? And this object, there are two objects that I'm going to create. One is registration form and the other one is educational detail. Registration form, educational detail, these two objects. These two objects will share one-to-many relationship. This relationship I need to define. Now all these values will appear as field. Okay, all these values will get stored in field. These all values will get stored in a field, and this field 1, field 2, field 3, field 4, field 5, and similarly field 6. These 6 fields will get defined at registration form. I'm going to define these 6 fields in registration form. Okay, in add educational details we have 4 or 5 more fields, and those fields I will define in this educational detail object. So these field 1, field 2, field 3, field 4, field 5, field 6, these 6 fields I need to define in registration form object. In educational detail object, whatever fields come up when I click on this add education details, I'll define all those fields in there. Okay, so let's do that right now. We'll create the object. We'll do it first for registration form and then later for this educational details. Okay, so go to home, setup, Here search for object, go to object manager. Okay, what we have to do is we have to create a new object. So go to create custom object, registration form. Okay, give plural name for this, registration forms, and then you can give some description if you want to. Okay, that's it. Save and new. So I have created one object. The next object that I need to create is educational detail. That's it. Save this. So I have created two custom objects, one registration form, the other one is educational detail. Choose the tab style, keep the default settings. Okay, save.